Alright, so this is the introductory video for Snackability 3.0. My name is Darian Morrison. I was one of the developers on the team for the 3.0 release. Let's get started. So this is just the problem definition. Essentially, this application came about because the vast majority, as you can see, some pretty high percentages of young people and college students as well are consuming snacks, on a daily basis that don't really adhere to USDA guidelines as far as what is healthy. It's pretty safe to say that most people consume at least one snack per day. And there really aren't any applications available right now that define healthy snacks in accordance with those guidelines. So, just a quick overview of 1.0 and 2.0. 1.0 allowed users to search for a snack through the USDA database via their public API. And they also had a local curated database of all of the snacks on FIU's campus. And basically, you could search through that either database, search for a snack, and get a score. Snackability 2.0 fixed some front-end bugs that were present in the 1.0 version. Um, they deployed the application on the front end and back end, which we'll get into a little bit later. They refined the scoring algorithm, so how snacks were scored, and they added a history for what snacks you've consumed, a points and leveling system, so kind of like the basis for a gamification elements. And they added snack feedback for scores, as well as user authentication, so logging in, logging out, signing up, and they greatly improved the UI and user experience. Um, So this is just a quick look at Snackability 2.0. As you can see, you have the login page all the way over here on the left. That's a very updated UI compared to 1.0, and you could essentially sign up or sign in there. Um, Basically, just username and password. And this was the home page essentially. So they did kind of like a line graph as a graphical representation of the snacks you've consumed. So you could get some kind of, visual representation to track your progress, as well as this points and leveling system bar at the top and the consumed snack history right here. They also fixed these icons down here that were previously like question marks in 1.0. And then they connected the local and the USDA databases, and you could see the Snackability database first, and then the USDA database. And this was basically the bread and butter. The snack detail view and also the local snack view is what you see after you search for a snack. So basically, you'll hit calculate. Sorry about that. You'll hit calculate, um, and it'll give you a score for every different point within that snack. So you have calories, fat, saturated fat, all of the criteria. They gave basically graphical icons to let you know if it was doing just okay, good, or bad, an overall score with some feedback. And then once you hit consume, it would basically save it to the Firebase database. And then they also had pretty much a settings page where you could view the About Us, add some snacks, give some feedback, clear your history, and log out. Um, so for 3.0, we basically fixed some bugs from 2.0 that were mainly dependency issues. We had to update the Expo SDK as well as a few other packages. Basically, just kind of get set up. But as far as the features, Dr. Palacios really wanted to engage users more, and she wanted to make it more game-like. So one of the things we added from the beginning were daily reminder notifications. Um, so basically, every day at 2, participants will be reminded to use the app. You could also select food allergies and notify users when snacks have allergens. So a little bit of personalization there. An achievement system for consuming snacks and different things you do within the app. You can get achievements like in a game. Um, we ended up doing some environment variables for the developers. This basically makes backend deploys and publishes to production a lot easier because that was a big thing we struggled with. We had an achievements dashboard to keep track of your achievement progress, Google and Facebook authentication for an easier login and to connect your existing accounts with Google and Facebook. Some UI improvements to the snack detail page and and the themes and graphs. We added a snack scanning feature by UPC label, so you can search for a snack by scanning the UPC label on the back. And we also implemented a script to automate the task of filling the local database with those UPC codes. So this is a quick look at Snackability 3.0. As you can see, we have the main layout here. This is essentially a My Apples section. You have the same points and leveling bar, but this is basically tracking golden apples and red apples. You have red apples, which are essentially gained whenever you consume a snack that's at least a score of 8, and then golden apples would be when you consume a snack with a perfect score, which would be 11. In addition to that, we also made some slight changes to the graph. We went with kind of like a bar graph that was color coded, as you can see here, and you can slide that along. In addition to that, you also have the snack history down here, which is the same. Let's see, the achievement dashboard, which is coming up right now. So as you can see, we created different, badges for each type of achievement. They all have 10 different pictures that are part of the local resources in the project. And all of this is dynamically retrieved. So we determine your achievements in Firebase, and essentially this title, this picture, this count, and this description is all determined based on what you have in your achievements object, which is stored as JSON in Firebase. In addition to that, about this mark, we also added, so this is basically just a demo of the search. When you search, you find, you have this history of your search history, and just to make it easier, that was something the previous team implemented, but basically when you search, you have, the local and then the USDA. After that, we have the UPC scanning, which is this. It's kind of hard for me to demo that just because I didn't really have any things laying around at this location where I recorded the video, but trust me, it works. In addition to that, we also added a little portion guide, which you should be able to see soon. So yeah, users can type in their portion here, but most people don't know, what portions are. So we kind of have this graphical guide provided by Dr. Palacios, so where you can see, how many grams something is, and just kind of compare. Kind of makes it easier for people. In addition to that, you also have the snack detail view, which has an updated UI in addition to the graph. So Dr. Palacios wanted to go with a lot of blue. So this is what it looks like now. A lot more colorful. In addition to that, you also have the settings over here. So we added allergies. That's a new thing. This is the About Us. We just basically added the 2 for 3.0. But in addition to that, let me just skip ahead to the allergy section. So we have this disclaimer here. This is because we can't guarantee that a snack doesn't have something you're allergic to. There could be liability issues there. So what we do is, let you know, sometimes the list of ingredients for a snack is unavailable. USDA's API does not provide ingredients for every single snack. Some snacks just don't have ingredients. So you'll see something called "they are secret" within the code. That's just whenever USDA's database doesn't have ingredient lists, and the local database doesn't have ingredient lists either. So basically what we try to do is we have a list of different allergens in the scoring algorithm. You'll find that at the top of the file. And we just look through the list of ingredients for a given snack and see if any of the words in there are something from the allergen list in scoring algorithm. And this is basically the UI for setting your restrictions. So you have dairy, nuts, shellfish, fish, and seafood, soy, and then wheat and gluten. and this is connected to Firebase. So you'll see that information for a user inside of their user key in Firebase. And you basically just hit update restrictions, and it'll give you that little confirmation. In addition to that, so this is going to be a demo of the achievements. So assuming a user had, I don't know, let's say they had 9 snacks that were low in sugar. The achievements have different levels to them. So the first level for consume snacks, basically any achievement you can get from, having low sugar, low fat, or low sodium, any of these things. The first level is always 10 snacks. So once you hit that, it'll consume, and you'll see, you gain the first achievement for a calorie killer, which would be consuming 10 snacks that are low calorie. In addition to this, the achievements also chain. So right now, execution is stopped in the application. This is because you don't want to overload the app with multiple alerts at the same time. So it's all promise-based, JavaScript promise-based. These are asynchronous operations, so you do need to wait until the data is resolved from the promise before you can continue. That was something that was kind of tricky, getting that to work. But essentially, you could have every single achievement that we have pop up one after another without crashing the app. And it'll update all in Firebase in order. As long as you keep tapping OK, it'll go to the next promise. All right, you can also, in addition, trade apples. So let's say you were a user that, didn't really, doesn't really eat perfect scores of 11 all the time. You get a lot of 8s, a lot of 9s, a lot of 10s, and you want to catch up to your friend who has perfect scores all the time. You could trade your apples because, you could be eating really healthy all the time, but not getting perfect scores because maybe it has, one thing that is, not passing the test. We don't want to, discourage users who are eating 9.5, 10.5 scores. So we want to give the option to basically trade, and you can trade 10 red apples for 1 golden apple. So in a second you'll see. Should be there. It is. So yeah, you trade your apples. You hit yes. It gives you confirmation, and then it subtracts. One thing to note, and this you'll see this in Jira, is that these counts, they might be updated when you trade your apples, but the problem is, let's say I were to go consume a snack now that were a score of 8 and get a red apple. The way I have this set up, it's not event-based. So basically, these counts are loaded on page load, and because this page basically only loads once in the lifetime of the app, these counts don't actually get updated. So that's something to definitely be on the lookout for as you start the first sprint. Other than that, we really just have Google and Facebook authentication, which you'll be able to see right now when I open the app again. So this will be the homepage, the updated homepage, and you can sign in with Facebook or with Google, and it connects your accounts and stores those in Firebase. As for the system architecture, we have basically an SQL database, the USDA API. This is where snacks are stored. We have a Node and Express app that serves HTTP requests, and the client which makes the requests. All user information is stored in Firebase, and then the front end is built with React Native and Expo. This would be the system deployment. So we have Heroku at the top layer. That's where the backend is deployed. That runs a Node.js app, and inside of there you have an Express application with Express routes and controllers. And then that communicates via HTTP with the mobile device running the Expo client front end and Snackability app. This is the class diagram for the front end. It's quite large. I'll leave it at your discretion to go ahead and take a look, but you can see how all the different things are connected. The bulk of the content would be in search form, snack detail view, achievements, and they all achievements. You'll see the arrows. They connect everything, and there's relationships here that you should definitely look into. And this would be the backend. So at the backend, you have the scoring algorithm, conversion, search helpers. These all feed data to Snack Controller, which controls the app, and then Snack.js is the routes, which feeds into index, and app.js, which is the entry point. And that's about it.